Hello, and welcome back to the Gaming Podcast Live. I'm your host, Mia, and we're here every 2 weeks to talk gaming stories, news, and gossip with your favorite queer content creators. Now, don't forget, you can keep up with all the latest news and features from Gaming Magazine by visiting us online at gamingmag.com. It's been a while. We missed the last... We missed last week's podcast. Obviously, that got delayed. I will go into all the details of why that was when it's necessary. But yeah, it's been about 3 weeks since the last podcast. I am so out of the loop right now. I've not done this in so long. It feels like it should feel like riding a bike, but this feels more like jumping off a cliff. But it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. But it's not just gonna be me because I can't do this alone. So every single podcast, I'm joined by a wonderful, wonderful guest host. And this week is the wonderful Psyche.
Hello. Hi, I'm so glad to be back.
This is your third podcast now, is it?
I think so, yeah. Or second podcast, and we did the Let's Go Gaming thing as well, so.
Yeah, I think you've been on at least 3 times at this point.
Maybe
surely.
I have. I've lost track of everything. What is time?
You're a regular face here on the Gaming Mag Twitch channel. Hell yes. How have you been?
I've been good. Not too bad. Very busy, but in a good way. How have you been?
Oh, I've been stressed, but we'll go into that in a little bit. I've been saying this has probably been one of the most stressful weeks of my adult life, but we'll get into that. We'll get into that. Don't worry. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. Stress is great. Except it's not.
No, definitely not. But this will be a fun podcast, and nothing is going to stop it. And there's no tech issues so far, so we're doing better than most podcasts.
I got those out of the way before we started, because right before we started, my camera decided it just wasn't going to work, and I was like,
really?
Not today, please.
Are you using Elgato? Is that?
Yes.
Yeah. Because my cam link constantly fails.
Just randomly doesn't work. Yeah.
Yeah,
I did that thing, you know, the way you get that thing where you kind of look like you went into space and everything's a funny color. That happened as well.
That's I think that's if multiple programs.
Yeah, I figured that out afterwards that the virtual camera had. Anyway, long story short, I went to space and it was great.
Nice, awesome. Great. Now, just a quick reminder for those of you joining us here live, you can interact with the podcast both here in Twitch chat and in a special dedicated section over in the Gaming Magazine Discord. Now, our special guest this week is another one of gaming's Rising Star nominees. It's been a bit of a theme these last couple,
it should be,
several podcasts. Yeah, we've had every single Rising Star on, except for 2. And this week, it's the lovely AwkwardishPanda.
Hi.
Hello.
How are you today?
I am doing okay. This is my second stream of the day, so.
Woo! You had your D&D show this morning, was it?
Yes, Wayward Revelry over on Dimples and Dice's channel every Sunday morning.
That proves to be a fantastic time. I've dipped in and out, and it's always fun, the interactions that you have between each other. There's a lot of madness going on over there. I'm not going to lie either.
Yeah, it gets real wild over there.
You need a bit of madness though when you're doing D&D, though.
A little bit.
It's so great to have you here today with us. So we are going to kick off this podcast after it's been so long with the weekly recap. This is where we talk about all the stuff that we've been doing recently, like games, movies we've watched, if you potentially, got hacked by a virus which delayed a podcast for a week, stuff like that. But I'm not going to go
hypothetically.
Hypothetically. So, Psyche, would you like to kick us off? What have you been up to recently?
So I have been, as a variety streamer, I have been playing nothing but Elden Ring for the last, I don't know, when did it come out? The 24th of February? Since then, basically.
Something like that, yeah.
I've been playing it a lot. And variety who? I don't know.
I know, no, I've been exactly the same way. So I finished it like the day before yesterday, and I feel like I'm free. I'm finally free.
I feel like I'm never going to finish it. I truly feel like it's a never-ending game.
Well,
it's
funny
been really good.
Yeah, it's a fantastic game. It's possibly like my game of the year so far.
Hmm.
It's been so good. Like again, we've talked about it multiple times on this podcast, but to go back into it, like the freedom it just gives you just to
Yeah.
explore that world. It's like Breath of the Wild on crack.
Yeah. Very
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, and it's a Souls game, and I hate Souls games. How are you
Mhm.
with Souls games usually?
I'm not, I would say I don't mind them, but I get really, really frustrated. I don't have
Mm,
patience usually, but for some
yeah.
reason, this one's really hit different. Like, I feel like
Mm,
if I don't
mm.
want to do something here, I can go do it somewhere else. I can
Yeah,
take
just go
something else
go
on.
somewhere else.
Exactly.
Yeah, I've said that multiple times. Like if you hit a blockade in the past in other games, I just get like keep
Mhm.
throwing myself up against it and get
And then
frustrated
you
and
give
stop.
up because you're like,
Yeah,
"Bleh."
but in this one, you just go anywhere. It's great. Panda, do you have any experience with Souls games?
I don't. And we talked a
No.
little bit about before.
Hmm.
I was in a car accident and suffered a traumatic brain injury.
Yeah.
So they are completely inaccessible for me because I don't have full
Mm,
control
Yeah.
over the left side of my body. So
mm,
I can't play them because
okay.
they don't have modes that allow me to be able to participate. So I watch a lot of people
Definitely.
play them and wish that I could grab a
Yeah,
controller and play, but I can't.
we
It's
actually
definitely
talked.
something they need to do better about. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we actually talked about like accessibility, especially with like Elden Ring,
Mhm.
on the last podcast, and it was definitely like something that came up in conversation. Like this is the most accessible like Souls game yet in terms of like difficulty and
Yeah.
stuff because you can just go off and do other things. But in terms of like them adding better options
Yeah.
for like if it's not like disabilities or even function or being able to just play the game how you want to play it, there are these weird little restrictions in there that just prevent you from doing things the way that you would want to do them, like say playing multiplayer without being ganked, which I've talked about multiple times.
Yeah.
Yeah, so stuff like that is still like a little bit frustrating. The game overall, though, I'd like I didn't see myself finishing it, and the annoying
Mhm.
thing that you talked about too is that I missed stuff. I missed stuff and I'm so mad about it. Like I got to the end and I figured out there are bosses that I've missed. There are
Yeah.
quests I was proud of because I progressed too far. It's really annoying. But I'm
Yeah.
so glad that you're having such a good time with it though.
Yeah. I'm really enjoying it. What about you? What have
Mm.
you been up to, Mia?
Oh god. So I finished Elden Ring. I dabbled in a little bit of Kirby. That's just
Ooh.
adorable and
It's the
fun.
cutest
And
chaos.
it
It looks
is.
adorable.
It is absolutely it's very simple to get into, but it's actually like I'd relate it to Dark Souls and Elden Ring a little bit because there's exploration in there. Obviously, there's set levels. It feels more
Mhm.
like Mario 3D World in terms of like the
Right.
setup that they've got for the levels. But each level has like secrets that you can find. But now you can upgrade your abilities for Kirby. So your copy abilities, you
Oh.
go back to like your main hub area and you can literally like find blueprints in the world to upgrade your copy abilities. And the
That's cool.
bosses are in these huge arenas too. I fought against this massive gorilla. I'm like, am I still playing Elden Ring? What is this? Like I'm dodging attacks and going behind them and like using frost on to freeze
That's
them so
cool.
it does more damage. And it's like, wow, I feel like I'm just playing another Souls game again, but it's Kirby. This is so weird. Plus, there's a mode in there where you don't take any damage too, which is really cool. So you can just literally just go through and not having to worry about like
Oh,
having to
that's
replay any
sweet.
parts
Yeah.
because there's just like an invincibility mode in there, I guess. So that was a lot of fun. What wasn't fun uh, this last week, last Sunday, I tried to do something nice for a friend. I got Discord scammed. So
Mm.
essentially, what happened is somebody popped up who used to be part of my community, and they were posing. Well, basically there was somebody malicious posing as a friend who their account had previously been hacked.
Mhm.
So they got in touch and they were like, "Hey, I've been working on this game. I really want you to test it out for me." And because that person has dissociative identity disorder, um, the change in personality, I didn't kind of latch onto straight away because I wasn't sure if I was dealing with the person that I used to deal with or if I was dealing with one of their alters. So I was like, the guilt got the better of me. I'm like, okay, I'll test it out. Um, I ran the program. It tried to steal my Discord stuff. It infected my computer with a virus.
Oh no.
This was Sunday afternoon, just before the podcast, and I was like, "Great, okay, well, everything's cancelled now because I need to fix my computer." So I spent 12 hours resetting all of my accounts, like every single
Ouch.
one. It was maddening. It was absolutely terrible. I had to reinstall Windows 2 times because I reinstalled it incorrectly the first time. Then I reinstalled it incorrectly, installed all my programs, tried to activate my license key. I found out that my license key was for the home version, not the pro version that I'd installed.
Oh.
And then I had to reinstall Windows again and then reinstall everything. And like everything's a bunch more secure now, I guess. I hope.
Good.
Fingers crossed. But yeah, it's the only thing that saved my Discord account was two-factor authentication. Like I was signed into my mobile phone, so it allowed me to literally just grab my phone, change my password, and apparently that's what did it. But I have been so paranoid and so fearful for like the days after that. It's been
That's
horrifying.
a nightmare.
I couldn't like eat. There was a pit in my stomach and I couldn't eat for like days. I had to force myself to eat, and that sounds so weird. Like, but when you think about how much is tied now to online accounts, like banking and just PayPal and stuff like that, like, I just thought, wow, it's all gonna go, and I was so scared. But we got through it, and now I think everything's okay, and it's safer now.
That's terrifying, especially as a streamer too, when like a lot of everything is right there.
Yeah, there's just so much tied to it.
I was super paranoid when I came back to streaming as well, because on the first day back, I was getting like a lot of weird bot accounts following me too. I was being like follow botted by like pro-Russian named accounts and stuff.
Weird.
And saying stuff against like Ukraine and NATO and stuff. I was like, I don't know what the heck's going on, but it's just weird that
the timing of that is really weird.
Is super weird. And somebody tried to access my Twitch account while I was live too, and I'm like, wow, okay, all right, cool. This is fun. This has definitely not got me on edge. But again, secured stuff up a little bit more, and I'm through it. So yay, positive things. And I'm gonna be playing more Kirby to relax myself now.
Excellent idea.
Panda, what have you been up to recently?
I've actually been gaming more than usual on stream the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
We did a big fundraiser for the Wave of Rape Crisis Center, and some of the unlocks were for me to play games on stream as opposed to my usual crafting, because I do a lot of crafting. That's like the core of what I do. So I played a lot of Sims. We played this game called Vampire Survivors. I don't know if y'all I am hooked. I was so angry at the game because I went in completely blind, so everybody we could all check it out together. And it was so frustrating. And now I find myself like grabbing my controller like 2 or 3 times a day to just be like, let me see how far I can get this level. 22 is about where I can get before I get et. Because I think that's where we start to run in with my mobility issues, but I'm starting to make enough coins to start to upgrade stuff. So I might be able to start getting a little further soon, but it's like little bite-sized chunks that I'm finding myself really enjoying it. So we played that, and we also played Capybara Spa because, of course.
Oh, it looks adorable.
It is the chillest game. I watch more streamers play that and look like they're falling asleep on stream, and then be like, all right, I'm out for the night. There's something about the game, and I don't know if it's the lighting in the game or what, it really does make your eyes tired, and it's just so relaxing and chill. Because it's like a time management game, like, you know, the ones you have, like, you have to make all the burgers correctly or whatever, and you're like constantly like click, 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 click. With this, it's the same concept minus the timer. No one gets angry. No one gets upset. You just drop capybaras in their baths and put flowers on their heads.
Okay, I clearly need to play this. I rated somebody who was playing it, and it looked adorable, but I didn't really know what you did in it. It just looked super cute. So clearly I need to try it.
Yeah, it's very, very chill and very, very cute.
I'm looking at it now. This is so cute. Oh,
right?
The art is so adorable.
It's Capybara Spa, right?
Yeah,
is that
Capybara
right?
Spa. Yep.
Hold on. I think this is it. I'm not sure. Yeah, this looks so amazing.
And you can decorate the little bathtubs, and you get little duckies and baby capybaras and all these little really friends that you get to drop. The frogs are ridiculous. They're like big, like there's one hopping on the bottom. They're these big chunky boys with like little eyeballs.
I love a chunky boy.
Ridiculously cute. You get turtles.
Does that one have a puppy in the bathtub with it?
Yeah, I think puppies are the next one that you get.
Oh my gosh.
Interesting. Oh my
I
god.
haven't
adorable.
quite gotten to puppies yet, but I'm getting there.
I hadn't realized how big capybaras were in real life until recently. Like, I always assumed that they were this like tiny little thing, like a guinea
they're pretty
pig.
big.
No, they're
and
like
then-
dog sized.
Yeah, I saw the footage and I was like, oh my god, that's how big they are. They're just like roaming around actual like Japanese like hot springs. It's like crazy.
They're so cool.
Has Vampire Survivors become one of those games for you where you just think about it all the time? Do you ever have games like that?
I've had games like that before. Like we were talking about it earlier. I was a big Warcraft player, and that was a nonstop 80-hour a week. That's all I was thinking about. Even when I was at work, it was I got to get home and do this and this and this and that. Vampire Survivor, it's not quite like that for me. It's more like I need to check out from what I'm doing for a little bit. So let me play for a few minutes and take a break from whatever I'm crafting, because I have a lot of commissions on deck right now. So it's like, let me take a break, play for 20 minutes, put this down, go back to work. It forces me to sit up straight, look in front of me, as opposed to looking down at what I'm doing.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's more of a break time game for me, but it's not something I'm getting obsessive over at all. It's just, it's fun for now.
Hell yeah. Speaking of like your crafting and stuff, I'm just looking at your room. This is going to be terrible for the audio listeners, but I'm looking at your room and it's so neat and organized. And I'm like, I wish.
You don't want to see anything this way.
Honestly, same. You think this is chaos back here? Wait until you see the rest of the room, you know?
Yeah, like over there, we don't talk about over there.
Streamers exist in this perpetual state where off camera is just a nightmare, a hellscape.
Yeah. Chaos.
And this is all
Absolute
new
chaos.
too, because we had to wait to get our tax return so we could upgrade my setup, get the new camera, get it installed, all that stuff. So my office has been a disaster area. I've had like a curtain that goes behind me, because I used to stream sitting over here. And I had a curtain behind me, and like Cypher of Tears in chat, she's seen my office. It's only 100 square feet. It's very small. And I have to keep all of my crafting stuff that I do for on stream and off in this space.
Right.
So it was like, okay, well, now we're going to upgrade the space. So what do I do? And it was 4 months of chaos getting ready to install everything and then just put it all away. And now I'm like, I have to keep it clean. I have to keep it clean. I have to keep it clean because people can see it now.
For the audio listeners, it is incredibly organized back there. There is like under shelf lighting and a nice black and white setup. I don't want to say it's IKEA. Is that from IKEA?
It is. It's all everything in here is IKEA.
It's all IKEA.
Most of my house is IKEA.
It's like walking into an IKEA showroom, but it's so much more homely than you'd find at IKEA. So yeah, it's lovely.
So,
I
like,
absolutely
my paints all
adore
right
it.
here for my mini painting.
Oh, they look great.
This is the only thing I have from IKEA in my house right now is the shelving. But like, I want to move into a new place, and I think I'm just going to deck it out all IKEA. Let's go, because like the aesthetic it's just nice, I love it.
Nice and clean.
Which
I don't have.
Yeah, but again, this is terrible for the audio listeners. But you have the wonderful like spacey stuff going on back there, and like all the lighting. It's so cute.
We just don't talk about all the stuff on the shelves that my cats like to like. You know the stereotype of cats that like get on a shelf and knock stuff off.
Yeah,
my cats don't do it on purpose, but it is on purpose. They just they walk past everything and go, "Oops, I knocked it on the floor. Oh my goodness, how surprising!" They don't do it with their paw; they do it with everything else. So yeah, that's always great.
I wish my cats would knock stuff off on purpose. I say cats, I've got one cat, and in my bedroom I got a bookshelf. Most of the stuff from that bookshelf is currently on the floor, because every morning, if I do not get up straight away when he starts screaming at me, he's like, I'm going to jump on the shelf and just start knocking stuff off. I hate him, but I love him. But I also hate him.
I hate all three of mine, but I love them all.
I have 2 gigantic dogs. If they're upset in the mornings, I have bruised ribs.
Oh my goodness.
It is get up.
Oh, jeez.
See,
I'm glad I got a tiny cat.
Yeah. I don't have to worry about them knocking stuff off my shelf, but I don't know if you can see it. There's this glass jar that's right here that is full of the rocks that the puppy brings me from the backyard that she did.
Oh my God. That's amazing.
So, we call them Ripley's rocks, and she's brought me ones that are this big.
That's so sweet.
And she's a baby. She will literally just bring me rocks that she finds in the backyard. And it's like, where did you get this?
For audio listeners, the sizing that was being shown there looked like the size of a small ball, I guess, like a football, like a small football, maybe. Oh my goodness. That's a lot. That is a lot.
Absolutely.
Right. I think it's time for a section we like to call bite-sized news, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's where we go over everything gaming in the news recently. So I know, Psyche, you've been looking at some stuff.
Yeah, so the BAFTAs were this past week, just a few days ago.
Yeah, the
And
BAFTA Game Awards, right?
yeah, so
I missed it personally,
I
but
missed it and I caught up afterwards. And what I
mhm,
thought was really, for me, very exciting is that
mhm.
Returnal won so much. And I haven't played it yet. And I'm planning on starting it this week. So I was like
Returnal cleaned
super
up.
excited.
Yeah,
It
Returnal really
really
cleaned up.
did.
They got
Yeah.
so many categories. Let me see
Yeah.
real quick.
They got audio, they
Mhm,
got best game. I think they got a
mhm.
couple others as well, maybe?
Yeah,
Audio
it
achievement,
looks.
best game in music,
Yeah,
and
wild.
performer in a
Yeah.
leading role.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
very
the
excited.
voice actress got it as well, didn't she? That's it's amazing, like the amount that they've done. I actually still have Returnal in its packaging. I have the PS5. I've not hooked it up to my stream yet. It's just been sitting in my living room as a streaming device,
Mm.
which is ridiculous. I played Astro's Playroom on it, a little bit of Final Fantasy VII Remake, and Returnal, and a bunch of other games just sat on the shelf, still in their
Oh,
plastic, just
no.
waiting until I can get round to them.
Oh,
But there's
dear.
too many games to play. There's too many games. I
Yeah.
will say, I think Life is Strange totally got snubbed. Like, it
Yeah.
was up for a couple of things. What was it up for? Real quick. Let me actually just do a quick search here. I think it was up for something. Yeah, like Erika Mori. I love Erika Mori, the voice actress of Alex Chen. Didn't win, and I'm so sad about that. And also the
Mhm.
supporting voice actor Han Soto as Gabe, the brother, also was up for a the supporting role.
Mhm.
Didn't win for that, but I'll tell you that they did actually win at the GLAAD Awards,
Yes,
Yes.
they
which is pretty
did.
damn cool. Yeah, they I can't remember which one was it that they won. I think it was just a general categories. Let me just see. Which one did they win? I've completely forgotten. It's left my brain.
They won, I'm trying to remember. I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't
Yeah.
remember off the top
I
of my
have it
head.
written down here, but yeah, they won a couple of awards anyway, so it's great that at least in some places that's getting recognized, and I absolutely love
Mhm.
that. And it's great that we actually have award shows to celebrate
Yes.
again, like not just video games in general, but queer video games in general.
Mhm.
I won't plug the Gaming Awards. It's happening at the end of this month, but I
April
I just
25th.
So excited for
I'm
it.
yeah,
very
yeah.
excited.
I'm actually going to be down there, which is going to be
Really?
fun. So, yes.
I wanted to go so bad, but it's such a big flight,
It
especially
is.
because I
It's
have
like,
a little kid. So
where are you based out of again? Like
Chicago, Illinois, and Central,
Chicago.
yeah, in the
Yeah,
Midwest.
yeah. So
So
that's what, like at least an 10 hour, 8 to 10
2K,
hour
it's
flight.
$2,000 a plane ticket each way.
Yeah,
Ooh.
that's insane. Like that's
Yeah, that's a
crazy. Yeah,
lot.
for one night. I mean, as cool as the Gaming Awards are for one night, that's a
Yeah.
lot. That's a lot. So
Mhm.
It
yeah,
would.
but it's we're gonna be celebrating regardless. I'll get a drink for you.
Yep,
In your
I
honor.
know.
There
I
you
know
go.
a few people are going. I know Coder Girl Chan is going. I know Luke is going to be there. It's Me
Mhm.
Holly has said she's going. I don't think Crunchy is going. I know a lot of us that are up for the Rising Star. We've
Mhm.
all kind of networked and started to get to know each other.
That's nice.
Coder Girl
I
Chan
love
and
that.
Luke have come up with the best plan I've ever heard because I
Oh,
can't go.
is it a secret? It's a secret
Well,
plan.
no, because we talk about it on Twitch all the time.
You're gonna
Chanel
usurp
wants
the
to bring a
awards, I see.
little cast iron pan because I have an emote that is a pan hammer, which is my pandas swinging a cast iron pan. Because I hate that question as somebody who's pansexual, and I get it all the time.
Oh, God.
That's
So-
great.
People
I
think
love
they're
that.
jokers.
Right. So she wants to take a little pan with a little panda's face on it so she could hold it up. So it's like I'm at the.
Oh, that's cute.
I really hope that they allow her into the actual.
They're gonna ask. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're gonna ask.
Okay.
But it's
Yeah.
like
I
we
hope
just get a
so.
printout of the emote.
Mhm.
That's
That
really
that
sweet.
works. That also works. Yeah. But I love the some of the winners on here are it's great that they're actually being recognized too. We
Yeah.
have
I was
I think-
streaming about Unpacking winning. I was so
yes,
excited.
yes.
Yeah.
Did they just win the one or did they win a couple? I can't remember.
They won for
won two.
narrative as well as Game of the Year. Which
Game of the
is
Year,
crowd
yeah.
voted.
I was really confused. I've not played Unpacking. Again, I have it, but I've not played it. What narrative for Unpacking? Is there
So
something?
okay. It's a
Yeah.
narrative that's told in a really unique way, I guess is the best
Mhm.
way to describe it. Like there's no real dialogue. and the story is told through like little snippets of things, and the items
Okay,
that you
cool.
have kind of like I guess think of it like items that have some kind of like sentimental value or whatever. You kind of learn what each item is for and why they bring it with them the whole way through the story, I guess.
Oh, that's incredibly
There's a
cute.
cute cutscene at the end as well that was really nice.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
the
nice.
cutscene. I was like sobbing the first
Oh, I
time.
cried. I
Mhm.
cried so hard.
There was makeup.
Oh my God,
everywhere.
really? That's wow, that's
The story
amazing.
is so good because it's so subtle. Like it's little
Mhm.
tiny things. Like you learn about this woman as she grows from a young girl until she's, with her partners and, first
Mhm.
roommates
Huh.
and first dorm and first own home and
I
first
see.
apartment.
That makes more
And it
sense now.
and it's
Oh,
what
that's
you're
awesome.
unpacking and packing as you go between all these places and what sticks with you through your life,
Mhm.
how it affects your life,
It was
and then
very
there's
unique.
very subtle but very meaningful representation. There's
Mhm.
disability representation,
Mhm.
there's queer representation. There's I can't say more without spoiling the game.
Yeah.
That honestly, I think you just sold me on it though. If I didn't already own it, because I
It's
just wanted
also
it to like for a
super
relaxing
long.
time. But
So, like, if
yeah,
you wanna go into it, if you're the type of I know I am, if I, don't have a lot of time going into a game that I know is gonna be like Elden Ring levels of, I don't know,
mm.
200 hours or whatever, can be really intimidating. It's quite a short game, so it's something you could enjoy on, like, a rainy afternoon or something, and
You
it's
know what?
really
Again, after the week I've had, I need something to kick back
I
with. So
I think I
yeah.
played through my first playthrough with the puzzles on because from again accessibility, they have a
Mhm.
way for you to turn the puzzle aspect off and just chaos play stuff.
Yeah.
You put it wherever you want and
Really?
still win. But there, you can have the puzzle on where you have to do specific things. Like there's certain
Mhm.
things that have to be hidden or certain things that have to go in a very specific place or it doesn't count, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like you can't put your toaster on the shelf in the bedroom. You can in chaos mode,
Mm.
but
Yeah.
you
Heck
know,
yeah.
but even with the puzzles on, it took me about 4.5 hours to play through the
Mhm.
whole game beginning to end.
So I'm not supposed to put a toaster in my bedroom. I got to
You have
change
a
the whole
toaster in
thing.
your
No.
bedroom? Yeah.
No, of course not. There's no. I mean, I wake up, I want some toast. What can I say? Come on. No, I'm kidding, of course. I'm kidding, of course. But yeah, that actually sounds really fun. I might actually give that a go now. Now, I did have some stories myself. It was Trans Day of Visibility this past. Oh God, I believe it was the Friday
30
before last.
was it
Maybe it was the
Thursday?
end of March.
31st. It was 31st.
Yes, it was the 31st. I don't know, no idea which day that was. It was Thursday.
I
Yes,
think it's
absolutely.
Thursday, yeah.
Yes. The only reason I remember that now, since you said it, is because I was hanging out with Jane Romero, playing some Dead by Daylight with a bunch of other trans content creators in celebration of the day. In fact, they even got they put together. She put together a video of a bunch of trans content creators for Dead by Daylight, and they sent that off to. They got noticed by who was it? They got noticed by one of the heads over at the devs of Dead by Daylight, who was just like, "We see you," in that acknowledgement, just by a company like that. Dead by Daylight's great, by the way, in
Mhm.
general. Like the devs over there just do so much for representation in their game, and they want to start adding more queer characters and telling more queer stories in Dead by Daylight, which I'm not sure how they tell the stories in there because I'm not that
Mhm.
familiar with Dead by Daylight. I've not played it all that much, but it's nice that they're actually going out there to say, "Yo, we want to actually have inclusion in our game, in our murder game, where psychotic killers chase down people. We want to have inclusion." So that was great. So I
But
also
it's
have
still
some.
popular in the queer community, though.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is. It's crazy to me just how many queer people
So much,
just
yeah.
play Dead by Daylight. Like almost every guest that we have on this show is into Dead by Daylight in some
Mhm.
way or form. It's amazing to me. So in celebration of Trans Day Visibility, I wanted to go over a couple of stories. I know that there is one. Jamie Lee Curtis is officiating her daughter's wedding in a World of Warcraft costume.
That's
Now,
so
I know
cool.
nothing about World of Warcraft, so I'm going to let Panda fill us in on who is this character that
So
they're
she's going to be
going to be.
dressing up as Jaina Proudmoore, who is
Okay.
a very predominant character through the entirety of the Warcraft universe.
Hmm.
And I come from a place where I started playing in late vanilla, and I played through till about 2016, right before we became foster parents, because I knew I was going to have a lot of time, so I had stopped playing. And at one point, and I mentioned this earlier, I was like 80 hours a week Warcraft player, and everyone knew Jamie Lee Curtis played. No one knows what server she's on. She's been very good about keeping that quiet. So Jaina Proudmoore is a member of the Alliance. She's one of the very large figures that you meet along the way. There's a whole huge storyline with her that I won't get into because I could sit here for 4 hours with it. It's a very, very deep lore, but she's a very popular character. And Jamie Lee is dressing up as her, just like getting a full cosplay on.
So cool.
To officiate the wedding.
And what's so great about that and why we include it in the actual like transpositive stories here is because Jamie Lee Curtis's daughter is trans, and Jamie Lee Curtis herself was extremely supportive and still remains supportive to her daughter Ruby when she came out, and throughout the entirety of transition, and has spoken up in general about being incredibly supportive of the trans community. So Jamie Lee Curtis, hell yeah, we love you.
Her.
Love you. Yes.
She's doing exactly what any parent should do.
Yes.
And I love that.
Other wins for the trans community. Bloodborne PSX creator is a trans woman and has been talking to Gaming Mag about why Bloodborne in general is just so transgender. And I guess it's generally equated to Bloodborne being this game where it's the higher rich normal populace taking advantage of the different, the queer, the disabled, and causing these nightmarish hellscape to be put upon these people. And it's about you fighting back as an outsider against those people as well. So it's a nice little through line that was there. It's definitely worth a read. The article is up on Gaming Mag right now, but definitely worth a read there. And they make some good points in there. The reception that they received for it, obviously from your typical gamers TM, has not been ideal. But yeah, what's nice to know is like they're carrying on regardless. They're just rolling with the punches, which is absolutely great to see. And yeah, they're at least trying to they're more worried about DMCA, to be fair. Like that's what I'd be worrying about too. Like if you want to play Bloodborne PSX, which is a PlayStation remake of the original Bloodborne, go ahead and get it as soon as possible, because like when it comes to fan games, when it comes to fan creations, DMCA is one of the bigger problems. As soon as like the actual devs figure out about it, or the publishers generally more so than anything else, any Nintendo related products, they're gone. They're out of here. You're not going to be able to play them.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's go and get it. I think there might be a link in the actual article as well, I think. So go and check that. Yes, go and check that out. Although that said, I don't think I'm going to be downloading any other games onto my computer anytime soon from other sites.
You've had a bad experience this week.
Yeah, and that's Lilith Wolfer, by the way, if you want to check out that creator. Absolutely fantastic. And I actually saw a trailer for, I think there's Bloodborne Kart coming too, which looks ridiculous. It's like, I'm not sure if it was an April Fool's joke, because I think I saw this before April 1st. But yeah, it was just this there's like they just put the models, the PS1 models, into carts and they race them against each other.
Nice.
It looks hilarious.
Yeah.
Definitely worth checking out. Looks amazing.
And it was they did mention it before April Fool's Day, so the likelihood that it's a joke is pretty slim, and it's ridiculous.
Okay. Interesting. That's really sweet. I like that.
The last story I wanted to talk about is it was Trans Day visibility, obviously. Some places didn't necessarily realize, or did realize and made some decisions. But I think you've got more info on that, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and say I'm pretty mad that Twitch decided that they were going to introduce Mod Appreciation Day, which is something that they should do. I think that's a really great thing to do. But they did it on Trans Day of Visibility, which was a really strange misstep and oversight.
I had words to say about that, definitely. Like, as soon as I noticed, I was like, this does not sit well with me at all. it's just really frustrating because from my point of view, as a trans person who wants to celebrate Trans Day of Visibility, and it's not to say that like multiple things can't happen on the same day, but when it comes to Twitch, regardless of them, they did put like trans creators on front page that day. They did have people from like Transmission Gaming and Team Transtopia raise money for charity being on front page too. And they did highlights after the post. I think they realized that they did a bit of a wacky, and they like retweeted a bunch of trans creators and stuff. But what that's great. That's absolutely fantastic, and I love to see that. I got highlighted myself that day, which puts me in a bit of a precarious position. Me, along with fellow trans creator Nicotine, absolutely wonderful human being. It was great to be highlighted, but at the same time, having the mod appreciation celebration on that day, it's like going into an event dedicated for one specific thing, and then somebody comes in with a boombox just playing like loud random music.
It takes a lot of the attention away from the day that was already in play. And it takes away from all of the highlights that they were doing, because they were doing things. They just maybe weren't promoting them correctly or well or at all.
Right. And then it gets tuned out. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was like, and then it gets tuned out on like social media, because you have everybody who is a streamer who we all appreciate our mods greatly, especially queer streamers and people of color who stream. Like, we need our mods to protect us. So you want to be able to say, hey, I appreciate you on this day that you're supposed to get noticed. But at the same time, it's like, this is taking away from something else that's really important.
Yeah, I felt terrible. And I apologize to my mods. I'm like, listen, mods, I understand. Like, I love you dearly, but I have to be like angry about this right now because it's the stupidest decision that I think probably the corporate side of Twitch probably made personally. Because I know there's queer people that work at Twitch. I know there's a bunch of, there's trans people that work at Twitch. There's queer people that work at Twitch. I'm assuming that they would not have made this decision themselves.
No.
And it's got to be the corporate side of it. And I do feel like a lot of the time, like, the two sides of the company don't necessarily communicate all that well. That's what it seems like anyway. But again, just like being the problem that a lot of trans people, well, I say me personally, this is my personal feeling, I'm not going to speak for anybody else, but what I see a lot is trans people getting talked over in conversations.
Oh, yeah.
I see trans people getting talked over in conversations that concern trans people. I see cis people making decisions about legislation that affect trans people and listening to cis voices who speak out against trans people, especially here in the UK. There's such massive problems with that. Well, constantly there's like lords and ladies, specific ladies who have power who potentially have power in government, trying to push legislation through to parliament consistently, and basing it on the words of TERFs and certain authors who write magical wizarding books, let's say.
She who will not be named.
I only don't mention her because Gaming has promised we won't cover her, apparently. So, yeah. And apparently we won't be covering that new game either, which is aces in my book, as far as I'm concerned. But, when we're in this situation where we're constantly being talked over, to have a day of potentially not even, like, celebration, just a day put out there just to signify that we even exist, to signify, again, it's a day of visibility. It's literally to make us visible. You're literally, on a day of visibility, you're putting something else in place to take away from that and to potentially stop conversations from happening. Maybe not, that wasn't the intention, but that's what it does. And it's incredibly frustrating.
It completely drowns out the day that we should have been celebrating, especially on a platform where often trans people are, like, up until very recently, we didn't even have a trans tag, that is still relatively recent. And to have something put in place that, I still think Mod Appreciation Day should be a thing. I just think that the timing was really, really poor. And
that's the thing. The odd thing, it was, I think last year or the year before, it was in December. So their choice to move it to the end of March is really odd. And
it doesn't make any sense. I genuinely don't believe, I hope it wasn't intentional. I don't believe it was intentional.
I don't think it was intentional. I believe it was just a massively stupid...
An oversight that should not have happened.
Right. enough people saw that someone should have known better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This didn't just
yeah.
come from one person. There were enough eyes on that to know.
Yeah. Seeing the actual reactions to that post as well, like so many trans people underneath. Maybe it's just my Twitter that was showing these up, but like so many people like, yeah, this is great, but why are you doing it today? It was like, it was kind of heartening to see that, which was absolutely fantastic. And I know other people did complain about it as well, including another content creator, Laura Blake. And they actually got a response off Mary Kish, who is the actual, I believe that they work for Twitch. They're the head of community marketing over at Twitch, if I remember correctly. And they actually said, "Hi, Laura, I'm sorry we were experiencing this," to all the stuff about like just general hate getting on Twitch as well. They completely agreed about moving Mod Appreciation Day to give Trans Day of Visibility some space. And they're going to be trying to support trans women. Oh, they said they were supporting trans women in Women's History Month, which is great to see the inclusion there. I was included myself, and like again, massive thank you for that. But they exactly agree that Trans Day of Visibility should be its own event, and they're going to make sure that this change happens for next year. So some slight positives moving forward, and just hoping that they don't like mess up again, and hopefully that remains to be the case. So
fingers crossed.
Good ending there, hopefully.
Yeah.
Doesn't change the fact that they screwed up this year, but
we'll revisit next
positive
year.
things. We'll yes, we'll revisit next year. We'll see what happens.
Let's look next year at the massive calendar that all of these days are public: Days of Visibility, Days of Remembrance, Pride Month, everything else. Let's just go ahead and look and find a day that works.
Bar Twitch events from being there and say maybe we could do something to like bolster that community, or you know, in Black History Month, put people on a carousel or like in that section, and maybe like raise them up so they're
maybe lift it a bit.
Yeah, maybe put it up at the top. That would be
put it up at the top. That'd be great. You know, stuff like that. But yes, we are gonna take a quick ad read, and then we'll be right back with Panda's interview. So, did you know that the pages of Gaming Magazine are coming to life this July in New York City? It's going to be absolutely fantastic because you'll be able to join 6,000 of your fellow gamers at this unique convention that celebrates all things queer geekery, from streamers to indie games to AAAs and cosplay and even drag icons. There is going to be something for everyone, so head on over to gaming.live and find out more about Gaming Live, the event, and grab yourself some tickets. That's going to be this July in New York City. Do not miss out. I'll be going. I will be going. You might see me there, I guess. I think I'm going anyway. I gotta double check, but I'm pretty sure I'm going. I'm pretty sure I'm going. So yeah, I'll be around there. What's kind of sucks though is it's in the exact same weekend as TwitchCon Amsterdam.
Oh no!
Yeah. See, Twitch, they did it again. They did it again.
God damn it, Twitch!
But yeah, so I'm going to be missing out on Twitch Amsterdam, unfortunately, to attend the event. But you know what? I gotta be where my queer people are. So yeah. Now, Panda, it is time for your spotlight. We're going to get to know you a little bit better.
Okay.
So Psyche's going to kick us off with your first question.
So, Panda, you are a self-described queer crafting streamer. Your streams are very cozy. What do you think attracts people to your content and your streams?
I think people really like the cozy aspect, and I'm very, very specific about trying to keep the space as safe as possible for anybody who is from a marginalized community, because it's rough out here. Yeah. Like, it's super duper rough. So I'm always trying to, provide a comfortable place. I don't want to say safe, because nothing can ever truly be safe. Like, you can't really claim that. Yeah. I try to do my best with it and just make it a good, comfortable spot where people know that if something happens, I'm going to handle it. Or my mods will handle it, and they can just come hang out. We like to refer to it as the Work and Lurk channel, because I play very chill, like lo-fi, and I just sit there and work. And essentially people will come in. I have a very quiet chat a lot of the time. Sometimes they're chaotic. It's cozy chaos. And people like to just come sit and hang out. And then I also try to make all the crafting that I'm doing understandable, accessible, affordable for a lot of people. And I have a lot of community members that will tell you they've picked up, crochet or cross stitch or blackwork or any of the things that I do, because every so often I'll actually teach a class on it as a like low budget. This is how you get into the hobby. The one expensive one we had was mini painting, because mini painting is not cheap.
Oh, it's not cheap.
But I offered people affordable ways to get into it, and more affordable ways than like having to go buy big kits and stuff. But I think outside of the painting one, the most expensive one we've run was like $12.
Oh, wow.
For people to get their own supplies in for it. So, I tried to, embroidery. We did embroidery too. Thank you, Catherine. Chat helping out here. So it's here's how you get into this hobby. Here are the basics of the skills. Go forth. And then I always keep, we call it Panda U when I'm teaching. And we always keep
I love that so much.
VODs available on my channel, and we also upload them to YouTube so people have access to them. They are free to watch. I don't, financially keep that outside for people. It's there you go. Here's how we do it. Matter of fact, I think my next ones are going to be incentives with St. Jude fundraising.
Oh, nice.
To set up for the next ones. But yeah, no, I think people just come for the cozy and they kind of hang out. And I have a very welcoming community that's always really nice to newcomers, unless you show up and show your ass, in which case you're going to get booted. So.
Actually, following up on that, what would you say is your favorite kind of content to create then? Whether it's your crafting, if obviously the video games you do dabble in, collabing with other creators, what brings you joy? What would you say your favorite is?
I love the crafting aspect. It is my favorite thing in the world. When I found out that queer crafting was something that existed on Twitch, I took to it so quickly. I was like screaming at my partner. He's like, if there was ever a job you could do, this is it. And a week later I had cameras. So
nice.
I love crafting on stream because it's something I've always done. I've got 25 years of crochet experience. I started when I was 14.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Amazing.
It's something I've done my entire life, and to be able to share that with people and have people to chit chat, because most of the time I'm home by myself, and especially in the middle of a pandemic. Like, I graduated from college on January 1st of 2020 and immediately had to become a stay-at-home mom, teacher, everything.
Wow.
Because my little one was sent home like April of 2020 or mid-March really of 2020. Yeah, there's my
for the audio listeners, I just brought up the Awkwardish Panda store that you can go to. Is it awkwardishpanda.com?
It's awkwardishpanda.com. It's my website, and it links to all of our stores.
It links to all the stores.
Mini painting. We have a mini painting paint shop where we do 3D printing and that kind of stuff. But this is all my crochet stuff that I have up currently. I do pride bags. That's my Ace Pride bag right there. So I essentially have
on here.
Yeah, I essentially have it that I will make any pride bag somebody asks me for. I will not make straight pride because no, and I will not make ally pride because again, no. Please take that money and go donate it to a queer charity.
Absolutely.
But I do pride bags for dice bags. Dice bags are kind of my big thing right now because they're easy to crank out. They're a lot of fun. And because a lot of what I do is TTRPG based, it's a thing.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of TTRPGs, you were talking about D&D and the show that you're part of earlier. And the fact that you kind of focus a lot on doing things like dice bags and stuff like that. What is it that first got you into like tabletop RPGs? What brought you to that space?
My partner's going to hate this, but it was my sister. So my partner played D&D a lot as a kid. He was like first edition. It was his thing. And then right after my nephew was born, I went down to visit my sister. And I'm sitting there and she's like, got him and he's fussy. So she hands him to me. She goes, we listened to this show, Critical Role, and she puts it on. And I'd never heard of it, nothing. And I'm sitting there bouncing my nephew while he's falling asleep. And I was like, this show's really cool. I think I'm going to go home and check it out. And then I like sat down and started watching it. And that's where I started to realize that Twitch wasn't just a bunch of dude bros gaming, because that was the only experience I had with it at that point. So I watched through that. I started getting into other shows and other creators that are also involved in TTRPGs. And then I decided I wanted to play. And my partner was like, yes, please. I've been waiting for this moment. And then nobody wanted to DM because nobody wanted to DM and I was the writer. So here are your DM guide. Good luck. And next thing you know, I'm I have a homebrew game that we played for a couple of years going into the pandemic. And now I'm on a show and I have a lot of friends in the community. And it was really just a very organic. My nephew was crying and we needed something on the TV that he could just listen to.
Aw, that's so cute.
Sweet.
Funny enough, like I feel I've always wanted to do more Dungeons and Dragons stuff. I have very limited experience in that area. The stuff that I have done has been absolutely fantastic. We did like a one shot or two for charity way back, but I can never like. I always want to get into it, but I always want to be like I want to play it. But I need to find like DMs that have more time and stuff, I guess, because like I feel like there's a barrier to entry there. You have to get so many people together at the same time and coordinate it, and like.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of ways to get into it. My oldest is in 3 games right now that she found online via Roll20.
I think with me it'd be like, yeah, but I gotta stream it though. I gotta stream it, you know.
Yep.
It's okay to have home games that are just for you.
Yeah. Oh, personal life. What is this? No, only work. Actually, speaking of D&D streams, we mentioned this. You have a show called Wayward Revelry, which looks like so much fun. I actually wanted to ask if there are any like fun stories from your campaign or in any campaigns that you've done that you'd like to share.
Well, this one, it's really new still. So today was episode 7.
Yeah.
So we're only 7 shows in, and they're only 2 3-hour episodes. So we're still really just getting
vibing, still getting there.
We're really starting to come together as a group a little bit. It's a lot of fun. I think one of the big things is how much like my community has latched on to my character. So my character is and this is going to sound so bad because it was totally not intended. She's a gender fluid Eladrin druid. And it was completely unintentional until somebody in the group was like, "Did you realize you just created your own rhyme?" And I'm like, "Oh my God.
That's amazing.
What have I
love
done?"
that.
And it's been a lot of fun to play them. And, everything is because they're Eladrin, it is based on the seasons. And their mood affects what season they present as.
Right. Wait,
cool.
what is a Eladrin, if you don't mind me? I don't. Again, I'm so.
It's totally fine. It was new to me too. It was something I wanted to kind of explore. So Eladrin are a type of elf that can change with the seasons, like what their personality is like, what they look like, how they dress.
That's so cool.
The genders can change and shift, and they can become completely different people based on what their mood is. I thought it would be fun to really explore with them, but people really, really latched on to the character. And I think that's been a lot of fun for me to know that I'm able to put out that kind of content that people are, they're really relating to. Because, when she's in her spring form, she is like the happy-go-lucky riot of colors. Somebody said it looks like Lisa Frank puked up a druid. And it's very, very, very true. But his winter form is very, very like stern and very masculine and very, very serious. And it's that very starkness of winter as opposed to the riot of color that is spring. We haven't gotten into summer or fall yet, so there's going to be some surprises there for folks too.
Oh, yeah. This is like a great way of like bringing queer representation into the that kind of spaces.
Yep.
Which like historically, I would have assumed that haven't necessarily been the most welcoming to. I'm not that familiar with D&D history, but like historically, has it been welcoming to?
Depends. It really depends on the people at your table and how accepting the people at your table are. And if you establish that acceptance up front, it has been traditionally for a lot of people been a great way to explore your queerness, explore a potential trans identity, explore gender identities. Like it's been a very good way for a lot of people in the TTRPG community to explore parts of themselves that they're not open to exploring publicly yet, or that they want to just kind of get a feel for things. Like what if I presented as a different gender? How does this feel for me personally playing this character? And how would it feel for me transitioning into real life? Like, is this the type of person I am? It gives you a chance to really get to know yourself through your characters.
That's awesome.
So if you're at the right table, it can be incredibly welcoming.
Yeah, I mean, we do have DigiPride coming up as well, so maybe we have a gaming magazine one shot
Oh, that'd
for
be so
D&D.
fun.
That'd be super fun. I'd
That'd be
love to be
super
involved in
fun.
that. It'd be great.
We actually have a question from one of your cast members.
Oh no.
The the question comes from if I'm pronouncing this wrong, I'm sorry, Indrani
Yeah.
of Nonagon Dice.
Mhm.
So I'm going to just look over here because I've got it written. So I'm going to quote it directly. Panda, you're such a wonderful person to play with. Your characters are incredibly nuanced. My question is, what's your process for coming up with a character? Give a lady some tips.
Process for coming up with a character is to know the setting and then run with it. So knowing that the setting was going to be the Witchlight Carnival, I immediately latched on to something bright and colorful like a carnival, but I'm like, but that's really one note. How do I progress from there? You
Mhm.
know, to give that nuance, to give that depth to a character. Also, I have a creative writing degree, so I have a lot of practice creating characters and believable
Mm.
characters. You know, writing classes help, reading a lot helps. And just being willing to just dive in and do something completely different. Like none of my characters shy of one or two things are alike. A lot of my characters have like celestial stuff because I'm obsessed with space and stars and moons and all that kind of stuff. And a lot of them have fiber arts backgrounds in some sort because that's where my background is, and it's something I can play into and understand. But personality wise, look wise, they're all completely different.
Mm.
Oh, that's really cool.
That's absolutely epic. I actually wanted to ask. You said you had some DMing experience in the past. Yeah. Have you ever had to deal with murder hobos? And if so, how do you deal with them?
I have never personally had to do that because I had a very firm rule that if you become a bunch of murder hobos, I'm going to just start painting minis and someone's going to die. There will be direct consequences to your actions if we are just going to run around killing everyone.
Yeah.
Because those are not the types of games that I like to run. And I was very clear with my players up front. If you start down this path of we're just going to kill everything because that's all we want to do, that is not the game I'm running. And if that's the game you want to run, go find that game. It's cool because there's some people that they love that. There's some DMs that's all they ever want to do is combat, 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 combat. Go find that campaign. That's not for me.
Yeah. Would you say you like value the story of it more so for me and the other people that I've met who are within the D&D sphere? They the people I've spoke to, it's like they kind of look down on like gaming the system, like going into it with like, oh, I want to build this character with these specific stats and actually like so I can, you know, be the most powerful character. For them, it's more about the experience and the story that's being told and just interacting with people. Is that true for yourself or?
Yeah, I'm much more over the role play than the min-maxing. Like I have skills and stuff for my character that if I wanted to min-max her and make her super powerful, I would not take. I very much went in with this is the story, this is my character, this is who they are as a person, and then picked everything based on that because I'm much more into the role play than I am into the combat. I love combat. I think it has its place. I think it's a really good thing. I don't want to be combat because it's exhausting.
Yeah.
Also, hi, I'm gay and cannot do math. I did not get the math gay gene.
Math is banned in general. Math is just banned from queer spaces. Come on. Let's put it to bed.
No, I don't do the math thing at all. So I don't want to have to sit here and add 40 dice at a time. No, just let me play my game. You know, so for me personally, but there's a place for it. And there are people that love doing that love big, long, drawn out dungeons where you have to min-max in order to be able to survive. And that's great. Go find that place to play.
Yeah.
That's awesome. It's adaptable for anybody then. That's great. Now moving away from D&D a little bit, actually a lot. Just to change the subject, what kind of content would you say inspires you? Like when you were first starting out, are there any content creators that you enjoy watching or anything that kind of got you into it a little bit more?
Cypher of Tyr actually got me into streaming because I was hanging out in her channel a lot as I started to get into more TTRPG stuff and like meet more people. I found her through Critical Bard. And then one day she raided somebody and dropped us in a channel and they were crafting. And I'm like, excuse me?
That's a thing.
And it was gone from there. And then it was finding every crafter I could find on Twitch. You know, I still hang out in her. I mod for her. I hang out in her channel a lot. She's a personal friend. She's great. You know, And like, it's just from there been finding those really comfortable, cozy communities where sometimes it gets a little chaotic, but you still have that safety feel of these are people that are like me. These are people who are queer. These are people who have similar lived experiences, and then going from there. So like I hang out with Jeff Brutalag's channel a lot, Cypher Tier, DJ Knight, Zerjester, Painting Pirate, Cozy Catherine, like, and the community is growing from there. And a bunch of them are here in chat today, you know, and it's just as I'm growing as a streamer, my community is growing to more and more streamers that are almost all queer. It's like the cozy little pocket of Twitch of the we're gonna support each other because no one else is gonna.
Yep, no, that's absolutely true. Speaking of the wonderful Cypher of Tier, we actually have a question from her as well.
Okay.
So she asks, you have been pushing for partner and growing your community. If you were to get the check mark this year, how would you use this achievement to benefit the community and yourself?
Ooh, yeah, I've been talking because there's this big whole everybody #panda for partner thing. I think if I were to get the check mark for myself, it is so that I can open more doors towards, you know, sponsorships and stuff like that. Because with crafting specifically, they're so focused on Instagram and YouTube, they don't see the value on Twitch without that check mark.
Right.
They don't see any value in the small engaged communities whatsoever because they're used to having to go through YouTube or people on Instagram with 100,000 followers to be able to make any money. So, you know, for me personally, it's to start opening some of those doors and then being able to say, well, hey, you should be working with this crafter or this crafter or this crafter. Because as a whole, the makers and crafters community on Twitch is incredibly underserved. And I feel like, you know, they just did this new creative directory after they had taken creative as a category away. So now they have the creative directory with all these wonderful creatives in the space, and all we have is a directory. They went into like creatives on Twitch in August of last year, and all they did was music. You didn't see anyone on front page crocheting,
really
cross-stitching, sewing, making dice, printing stuff. You didn't see any of that. And it's a growing community, right? Like you see DJ Knight is 3D printing now. Cypher is now doing 3D printing. My partner is talking about getting into 3D printing on Twitch, you know, because now he sees how much fun I'm having and he's like, well, maybe.
Yeah, I know there's like whole communities for painting Warhammer minis and stuff.
And I paint tons of minis, and a lot of them stream under art. But again, that's in the creative directory. And I really just, for me personally, I look at Twitch Partner as a partnership. What can I do for them as well as what they can do for me? And a lot of what I can do for them is I really feel like they need to get in touch with the community because it's such an underserved market that is just itching for a new place besides YouTube. Especially during the pandemic when we all lost our crafting circles, our crafting groups, the people who would get together, you know, ye old stitch and bitch. People think it's a bunch of old biddies. It's not. I had a group I would hang out with locally that was, you know, 20 or 30 people that would get together and crochet and knit and cross stitch at a coffee shop. And we were all under 40.
That sounds amazing, by the way. That sounds great. I'd love to just, I want to find one of those. Just go to one of those things, you know, maybe when things are a little bit.
Actually, that's a lie. We had a couple people that were between 40 and 50, but they would come in too. But we'd have people as young as like 16, 17, 18 showing up wanting to learn how to do stuff or already knew how to do stuff. Because, you know, there's tons of stuff out there. It's not just making baby blankets for grandchildren.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And I feel like Twitch should totally be jumping on that. The thing with the partner badge too is I'm not sure if this has changed now since back when I had these experiences, but like back in like 2018 when I was walking around TwitchCon, I'd talk to people like at booths and stuff. And they'd be so enthused about like the way you talk about things, the way like how enthusiastic I was about their products and stuff, and they'd be really into selling it. And then they'd ask the question, "Okay, well, are you partnered?" And I'd be like, at the time, I'd be like, "No." And you could see the interest just like leave their body, and it was so frustrating. So yeah, it's definitely something that just gives that air of like you've made it that you're an actual like industry professional, which is it's so weird. Still that it's seen as that. I'm not sure if it is still seen as that, but that's always what it seemed like to me. So I hope that works out, and I hope you get it. That would be great.
Yeah, the last time I applied, they straight up said get good. It's 75 or don't apply again. So I'm like, okay, well that takes the pressure off from that. So I'm just gonna do what I do, and when I get to the number, I'll apply again.
Yeah, I think they'll probably like reevaluate that at some point, no doubt.
Yeah.
Like numbers change all the time, it ebbs and flows, right? So
Mhm.
surely
Right,
like Twitch
absolutely.
should look at that. And so
Like, perfect example. So I'm an affiliate for this brand of crochet hook. They're my favorite hooks in the world. I've used them for years and years and years, long before I was. They require 1 million followers across all platforms to become an
holy
influencer for them,
moly, that's crazy.
because they don't see the value in smaller creators, but they don't look at the engagement.
And
I don't know
Wow.
anyone
doesn't mean anything.
I don't know anyone in my channel right now that crochets that doesn't own at least one of them they purchased through me.
Yeah, that's
Wild.
I mean, like
But they want 1 million followers across
1 million
platforms.
followers. Like even I don't have 1 million followers. Even I couldn't get
Yeah.
that, and
They're
I'd like
small.
to
Yeah,
think of
and
myself
nowhere
as
near
established.
that.
Smaller engagements that they'll do with creators, they require a check mark if you're on Twitch.
Wow, that's
They won't even talk
maddening.
to you. They just tell you, nope, sorry, we're gonna move
Wild.
on to the next person who's,
Mhm.
got like 50,000 on YouTube and send them like one hook to show off.
Mhm.
Wild.
Absolutely. Wow. Moving
Yeah.
on to more positive things. I did want to say a quick congratulations on your recent nomination
Oh, thank you.
for to be nominated to be the rising star in the Gaming Awards. As you were saying, it's been so nice to see you all coming together as well. The nominees coming together. How did it feel when that was announced and you found out about that?
It was a big shock because, one, it was unexpected.
Mm.
2, I didn't think anybody knew existed on Twitch outside of my community. It's because it's always just, this is my little community. It was a huge shock for me, especially because like I had gone to take a nap after stuff that morning. I'm like, I'm gonna go lay down. I have a headache. Cool. I woke up and I sat down at my computer to 400 notifications, and I'm like, what has happened? And all it is congratulations. I'm like, what is going on? I'm like freaking out trying to find it. And it got buried under everything before I actually found the post.
Mhm.
And then I just started sobbing.
Oh.
So, I'm very, very honored. I'm very, very touched, but it was like a completely out of the blue, like, wait, what? Because I've always had that. And it sucks because, as somebody who's pan and didn't really start to understand that until I was much older, am I really queer enough? And it's that question because there's so much bi and pan erasure, especially if you're in a relationship with somebody of another gender, that erasure is there. But no, I am very loudly queer. I always have been. I've just never been able to really and truly be myself about it. It's always been very quiet. It's me and my girlfriends going on a quiet date here and there. It's the unicorn hunter, which is a whole other thing. Fell into more than one of those relationships. It was always, am I really queer enough for this? And this felt very validating for like the really hard work I've been putting in on the platform, as well as trying to be like loudly, visibly queer, even though my partner happens to be a guy.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Yeah. It's like in general, there's so much visibility that's just taken away from people who are bi or pan or anything like that. So it's great in general to see more people like yourself in the public eye and have that representation there. And honestly, like you wouldn't have been chosen unless you were making a difference in some way. So
yes, I got yelled at about that the very next day.
Oh, really?
Because I was on stream talking about it, and Cypher and Zerjester both got on voice and hollered at me. They're like, "No, you get in Discord right now. You wouldn't have been nominated for this if you didn't deserve it. Shut up."
Exactly. Yes.
Sometimes you need people in your life that are like that and are willing to tell you how it is.
Friends that are gonna like kick you in the ass and be like, "Stop with the self-deprecation. You stop that right now."
Yep.
There's so many clips of it. I got a very stern talking to about being. I love
that.
I don't deserve that. Yes, you do. Shush.
I love that for you.
Well, that's the thing, though. The imposter syndrome is strong sometimes, isn't it?
It's real.
But I mean, that's what you were saying about like being pansexual and asking yourself, am I queer enough? That's also like a kind of imposter syndrome, and it's something like I've been out as a bisexual person for like since I was a teenager, and I still to this day ask questions like, oh, I've been in a relationship with a woman, but does that count? Like, am I, because I'm with a man now? Does that, you know what I mean? And it's
Mm.
really, really hard. So it's nice to
Yeah.
see people who are actually like being uplifted, because
Yeah.
visibility is absolutely an issue, as Mia was saying.
Yeah, I totally. I mean, obviously, I can't necessarily relate in the sense. Although I am bi, I've never really like worried about that in terms of like visibility. But in terms of my transness, I've definitely had those thoughts. Like, am I trans enough? You know, like I'm going through transition. I'm like I present, like this weird thoughts that just come out. Do I actually count for the longest time until
And how
like,
wild is it that
recently?
we are forced to kind of think that way and ask
Yeah,
those
it's
questions when we're just
crazy.
trying to live our life?
Yeah, it's
Um,
absolute insanity.
to completely change tracks a little bit, outside of streaming, what kind of things do you get up to, Panda?
Well, I have two kids with a very large age gap. So my oldest is my partner's from his first marriage. She's 24, and then I have a disabled 8-year-old, about to be 8-year-old. So I have a very big age gap. But most I am so sorry.
Hello.
Someone is
That's
outside and
okay.
the puppy is angry.
The audio
Finger!
listeners.
You shush. The neighbors are outside and he's not happy about it, apparently. But yeah, no, we have two very large dogs. My partner works, in upwards of 12 hours a day. So it's a lot of doing streaming stuff and working on commissions and doing some gaming off stream. I play a lot of Skyrim. It's my comfort game.
Love it.
Skyrim and Dragon Age Inquisition are my comfort games.
Oh, nice.
So those are my off stream.
It's another thing you take care of off of stream too. Yeah.
This is all day if somebody's outside. He needs everyone to know that I am streaming and I am busy and they are making too much noise by existing outside of the house. And this is how he tells everyone.
All right. I've miraculously got my gate just perfect enough that you couldn't hear that my very tiny cat was sitting outside my door about 15 minutes ago going, wow, at the top of his voice. So, I was like, oh no. Oh, it's okay. It doesn't seem to be being picked up.
Well, I've got my gate where it's at. He's just being excessively loud. And he's like 30 feet away right now. He's just not playing around with anyone. And his sister is now up, so she's probably going to get started in a minute. But no, it's a lot of doing the mom thing. It's a lot of off-stream crafting, playing games, getting to see friends on the rare occasions that I can. I don't have a lot of local friends, and that comes with being in a weird age range with my kids, because my oldest, obviously my stepdaughter, I was 10, 15 years younger than all the other moms. So no one ever took me seriously when I was around with her at sporting events and whatever. And with my little one, I'm several years older than a lot of the parents.
Oh yeah.
Like close, but my daughter is different than a lot of kids and people don't understand it. So there's a lot of just, the local friends I do have, seeing them when I can. But it's a lot of family stuff off stream. It's a lot. To ever let anyone tell you parenting is easy. It's not.
Well, I mean, you've obviously gotten like a lot of wisdom to pass down, a lot of stuff that you've learned from obviously your older child that you have. So you're doing great things there. Speaking of advice and again passing on knowledge, if there was any other LGBTQIA plus person who wanted to get into streaming but they were just like holding themselves back, what advice would you give them? What would you say to them?
Find streams where you are enjoying yourself just being a viewer, and hang out there a bunch and start to get a feel for what it's like. Know that streaming is not easy and it's probably 3 times the amount of work that you think it is or more.
Yep.
Get yourself the best mods you possibly can from day one and curate the hell out of your community, starting from the first time you push go live.
Definitely.
Yep. Because if you don't nip it in the bud up front, it will grow into problems later.
Totally. Yeah, I can
verify.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I've had that experience. It's just like letting stuff slide and then eventually will snowball.
And then you have to cut it off later, and it's always so much harder than it would have been if you just set the boundary in the first place. The pain. I can hear it in your voice.
Yeah, no, like again, as established streamers, I've been around for like 6 years on the platform now, and you'll find that like rules grow and change over time for a number of reasons. So
Very
you don't
much.
necessarily need to know everything at the start either. So
No, you don't need to know everything, but definitely have a very clear picture of the environment you want to create, what you want to do, and make sure it's something that you enjoy. Because if you're getting into this for earning money, you are in it for 100% of the wrong reason, and you are in for a very rude awakening.
Oh yeah.
That is unfun.
Definitely. Yeah. How many people like make it to getting that?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
No, I've been on the platform for 18 months. I've had 1 month that I've made minimum wage.
Yeah, I don't even.
And that's just for time streaming. That's not all the other stuff that goes into
stuff
it.
on top.
Yeah, like that's the thing. It's like I think it's only like within the last year or so that I've actually started to make an okay amount of money during this job, which is it's just insane to me. So,
So, do you have any plans for the future, be it streaming or whatever other content creation pursuits, things like that?
Going to con?
I'm not going to TwitchCon most likely. I would really like to go, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it or not. I am going to PAX U at the end of the year. That is the goal for my one big convention this year because I had a ton of fun with that. I'm going to keep streaming because I love it so much. It brings me so much joy to be able to have a community and have people to hang out with and have that support and be able to be openly me who I am and not have to hear about it. Like, the number of people that I've had to ban that have been people that come in and tell me that I'm fat, y'all, I literally greet everyone with telling everyone I'm really awkward and roughly panda sized. This is not news to me. So, it's nice to have, it's nice to have that, community around me that I never really had, especially because like I moved around a lot. This is the 32nd or 33rd place I've lived. And this is the first home I've ever had. So, having that homey feeling on Twitch and having, people that I enjoy being around, it brings me a lot of joy. I know growth wise, I'm going to start doing some tutorials for YouTube. But I have this thing for doing bite-sized ones where they're like 5 minutes long. Like, this is how you do this specific stitch. Okay, now go practice. Come back when you're ready to learn the next one. And give people a base of stuff to grow off of. But other than that, it's going to be a lot of streaming stuff. I enjoy raising money on the platform for charities. I'm already my goal for this year was to raise $12,000. I'm more than halfway there already.
Nice.
And it's, April. So, and we're
That's
going
so
into
good.
St. Jude. So I'm really, really excited because, raising money for charity is really important to me, especially, stuff for survivors of any forms of abuse. Hi, yes, I know you're here. Thank you. My own void is like trying to climb in my lap. You're too big for that, baby. So I think it's going to be a lot of growth, more fundraising, just growing the channel. Like I said, I have my eyes on partner. I don't know when or if that's going to happen, but it would be really cool if it did, because I would really like to be a champion for the makers and crafters community, because there's a lot of people that do what I do. And it's so hard to see the numbers on some of this because people just don't get seen because we don't ever get looked at.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, they're here, but okay.
Twitch is definitely underserving that community.
Yeah. People want that engagement, and I kind of want to be that person, because as far as I know, and we've talked about this a little bit on my channel, as far as I know, there are no femme presenting people that don't build keyboards that have been partnered under makers and crafting as a category.
Wow. That's
wild.
They're all keyboard builders or people that were partnered under creative when creative first got started.
Wow.
I could be completely wrong on that. It's just the research I've done to try to see like what you got to do, but I haven't found anyone that wasn't partnered before it got split off.
Yeah. Well, I hope that changes, and I wish that obviously partnership, that would be absolutely fantastic. I don't have any spin with Twitch, but if I did, I'd be like partner. And
I mean, and a lot of it really is and it's not just for me, you know what I mean? Like, I really want to see more people succeed at doing this, because YouTube has a chokehold on the crafting industry.
Absolutely,
and it shouldn't, because I find this platform so much more satisfying to have that engagement and be able to talk to people. Because when you're watching a tutorial on Twitch, you can't go to the person doing the tutorial and say, hey, can you do that again real quick? or on Twitter,
Yeah.
on YouTube. You know, you can't go to them and be like, hey, you went way too fast. Can we slow it down a bit? Or, hey, I have a question about how you did this because it didn't really get on Twitch. You could just ask.
Honestly, like the amount of times I've had that experience, I'm watching videos how to do things,
Yes.
and I constantly have to go back or play it and like slowly. Like, yeah, you're absolutely right.
And rewatch it over and over and
Over
over.
and over and over again.
Okay. We are gonna finish here with something we like to call quick fire questions. That's a little bit of fun. So literally, it's a kind of stream of consciousness, whatever comes to your mind first. But it's you have to answer these quickly. But don't panic. Don't panic. So yeah, Psyche's gonna start us off with your first quick fire question.
All right. So, what's been your favorite game this year?
Unpacking.
Great.
Excellent.
What was the one game that defined your childhood?
I want to say Mario Kart because we taught my sister to play, and then now she can just kick everybody's ass in it. So probably Mario Kart. That or like the Aladdin game and the Lion King game on SNES. That were
Those
just
games.
Like,
Hell
They were
yeah.
good. Who's your favorite video game character?
Iron Bull.
Wow. Okay, that was quick. Yeah,
That was quick.
Yeah, great
Dragon
character.
Age Inquisition is my favorite game of all time.
I think that's Jeff's favorite as well. Actually, funny enough.
I had the exact
Okay.
same reaction, just completely off stream because I had already played through it many times.
What game do you most want a sequel to?
Oh God. I mean, obviously Dragon Age, but we know it's coming. It's just not this year.
Eventually.
I would like to see another Unpacking game, honestly. I would like to see them do
Ooh.
more in that vein. If not a sequel, a different story, someone else's story.
Cool.
You know,
Who
even
would
if
be
it's
your-
like an expansion.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, no,
Who would be your dream stream guest?
Oh God.
Alive or dead, can be anyone.
God. There's so many. I don't know. Dream stream guest who hasn't already been on the channel. Oh my God.
You can circle back if you want to circle back.
Yeah, circle back. I got to think about
Okay.
that one for a second.
What game are you most looking forward to coming out? These are all very game focused, by the way.
It's fine. BA4, if we're going to get it next year. I've been screaming for that game since the announcement, which also happened while I was down in North Carolina with my nephew right after he was born. I was holding him as they were like the Dread Wolf Rises, and I'm like trying not to scream as there is an infant sleeping in my arms.
Amazing. If you were marooned on an island, what 3 games would you want to bring with you?
Skyrim, Dragon Age Inquisition, and right now probably Vampire Survivors or The Sims 4. It would be between those two.
Nice. That was so fast. Which game has the best soundtrack?
Best soundtrack.
Yeah, it's a
Oh
toughie.
no, that is a toughie. Mass Effect, the Mass Effect series.
Hell yeah.
There's something about it, especially like that opening when people started playing the Legendary Edition, and you get
cry.
that opening music from Mass Effect 1. I literally had goosebumps all up my arm. I was watching Space Valkyries loaded up, and all the hairs on my arm just went straight up.
I cried so hard.
That's so good. Well, let's circle back to the dream stream guest question. What is that?
Dream guess. It could be. God, I want to cop out and say my mom because I never really got to know her, but like, but that's sad.
But it's
I
cute,
don't know.
though.
I
That
would,
works.
you know what I would really like to do? I would like to get my partner in here and get him on camera because he's super
Dope.
shy. Like, nobody's ever seen more than like a second of him. I'd like to get him in here with like a co-op game or something. I think that would be a
Aw.
lot of fun because we're ridiculous when we game together. Like, Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time, best date night game in the world.
That's
Guys,
sweet, though.
Psyche has your last question. Feel free to take your time on this one.
Okay.
Yes. So, where can people find your content, and what have you got coming up on your channel?
Oh, there's a lot coming up. Content-wise, you can find me at AwkwardishPanda everywhere. So here on Twitch, YouTube, AwkwardishPanda.com, Twitter, Instagram, at AwkwardishPanda, you will find me. Coming up this coming week, another charity incentive was to make me do something for myself, which I very rarely do on stream. So I have to work on only projects that are just for me, not going in the store, not a commission, none of that. It only has to be stuff for me. So that's this week. And then starting next week, we start the fundraising for St. Jude. I'll be making a little crochet dragon for my nephew, who's now 3.5. So, we go with that TTRPG theme in Dungeons and Dragons. I'm making him a dragon. He requested a red dragon. That's what he's getting. So it'll be 6 weeks of that. In the interim there, I am on a TTRPG one-shot on Blood Thread Shear's channel on the night of the 22nd. It just got announced this morning. I am over on the GR Crew on April 29th, another charity one-shot. And then... Gaming Awards are going to be co-hosted on or co-streamed on my stream on the morning of the afternoon of the 25th here. It'll be an all-day thing. And then, a lot of fundraising for St. Jude. So that's the biggies coming up. And then we're going to go from there. That's,
Yeah. And that's over at twitch.tv/awkwardishpanda.
Yep.
You can find that.
Yep. And then Dimples and Dice's channel on Sunday mornings for Wayward Revelry, if anybody's into the TTRPG thing.
Oh, yeah. And my lovely co-host, thank you so much for spending your time. What have you got coming up? I know you also do the Boss Level podcast
Yes. So I have recently started the Boss Level podcast with 3 other hosts, My Lady Confetti, Hey Shitty Lady, and Jess Brohard. And we basically interview guests across content creation and the games industry and possibly other industries and like tech and stuff as well. And we try to have kind of uplifting stories and voices, particularly voices that you don't necessarily get to hear from all the time. So that's kind of our goal. New episodes are every Thursday on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere else that you get your podcasts. And apart from that, I am streaming Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays at twitch.tv/Psyche. And I will be hopefully someday eventually finishing Elden Ring. I don't know. I've been at it now for like 70 hours and I have no idea how close I am to the end. So
the game never ends. It never ends.
Feels like it never ends. And the last thing that I'm going to be doing is I'm starting a streamer advice column stream once per month. And we'll be doing the first episode of that sometime at the end of this month. I think the last week of this month. I'm not sure which day. I haven't decided yet on my channel. And that's that. So what about you, Mia?
Essentially, I'm just going to be doing the same old. I'm trying to figure out what to do now that Elden Ring is over. But you can find all of my content, whatever that may be, over at twitch.tv/Miabyte. Make sure you check out these lovely guests. Obviously, their links are in the chat. And thank you, everybody else, for joining us on this episode of the Gaming Podcast Live. We will be back in 2 weeks' time with the next episode with some other wonderful, wonderful guests. I do know who they are, but I'm going to keep that in my pocket. No, it's not 2 weeks' time. It's in a week's time. In a week's time. Yes.
Time is like weird.
Time is wibbly wobbly. Yeah.
But that's not all, Mia. You have a new Let's Go Gaming show as well.
That's true. You've been on it before too. We what did we play? We did Mario Party, right?
Mario Party, and you got me addicted to playing Mario Party.
Oh, really? Where's my invite? You did not invite me back.
I played it in bed on my projector with my partner, and we both screamed at Waluigi.
Yes.
Hell yeah. We're
awesome. Teaching my 8-year-old how to play.
Nice.
Yes, that's awesome. So we do Let's Go Gaming every it's either Wednesday or Thursdays at 8 p.m. UK time. So come on over to this channel right here, twitch.tv/Gaming Mag. You can check that out. Don't miss out.
You can follow the Gaming Mag channel here on Twitch, or you can subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss out on any of these amazing shows. And of course, podcasts can be listened back at any time on all of your major podcast platforms. And if you're listening here now, come on over to Twitch to watch us live on twitch.tv/Gaming Mag.
Absolutely epic. This has been such a fun show. Thank you both for being on with me. I've had so much fun.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. This has been great.
And it's been so great chatting to you.
It's okay. Honestly, like I love this show. I love getting to chat with so many different varied creators, and it's always such a fun
I
time.
find myself lurking over here and watching quite a bit on my Sunday afternoons.
And if you in chat are all lurking, don't forget to keep reading Gaming Magazine, and we will see you all very soon. Bye for now.